Hello and welcome to another DealershipNews.com podcast. I'm Kelly Kleinman, and today we have Todd Gilbreth from Dealership for Life. Dealership for Life is all about customer retention strategies, and not just for the sales department, but the service department as well, and onward and upward. The truth is that it doesn't stop there, so let's find out more. Todd, how you doing?
I'm great. Thanks, Kelly. Doing well.
Good to hear. Now Todd's an Ohioan. What part of Ohio are you in, Todd?
So I'm located in the northern part, just south of Cleveland, right outside of Akron.
Are you a Cleveland Indian, Cleveland Brown, and Ohio State Buckeye fan?
Well, I'm definitely a Cavalier fan and an Indian fan, not so much the Browns. I do root for them, but my team growing up in Oklahoma, originally from there, is the Dallas Cowboys. And, of course, I've got to do a shout-out for the OU Sooners from Oklahoma.
Well, that's well and good. I'm from Cleveland as well. I went to Orange High School in Pepper Pike, but that's neither here nor there. We're here to talk about Dealership for Life.
That's cool.
And how the heck you got into the automotive industry. Have you always been a car guy, or did you more or less just fall into it?
Yeah, I kind of fell into it. So, after college, I was working for Abercrombie & Fitch, owned by the Limited in St. Louis, and was transferred to Columbus, Ohio, and actually hired a F&I manager to work at the store part-time. And we always talked about cars, and he said, hey, you can make, a lot of money selling cars. And at the time, I was making about $21,000 a year as a store manager for Abercrombie. And so I said, well, maybe I should check this out. He said, hey, come on down to the dealership. I'll show you around, introduce you to some people. The next thing I know, I'm hired, and I've been in the car business, auto industry ever since.
Jeez, were your ears bleeding working in Abercrombie & Fitch? I remember going into those stores. It was just so loud.
Yes, definitely.
So
for sure. Back in the day, though, it was more like a scaled-down polo store, Ralph Lauren. So it was a little bit different than it is today.
Yeah, I bought my twins plenty of clothes over there. Let me ask you about Dealership for Life. Now, how long have you guys been in business? And give us a little background on its management team.
Yeah, so we started 2004. We were, us and another company, were the pioneers in the auto industry for loyalty and rewards programs. Back then, we would go into dealerships and talk to them about having a loyalty program. And, of course, it was very new, and they were kind of like not sure. But the dealerships that were progressive and forward-thinking, and they're like, well, if it works in the airline industries and the hotel, then why can't it work here? And, of course, we had customers that jumped on board. We created programs for them that were designed to reward their customers, build loyalty. And, of course, a lot of those customers are still with us today, 14 years later. And it was started by a management team of three people, three partners, Jack Garrity, Paul Healy, and Michelle Zimmerman, who are still with the company today.
That's good to hear. I mean, they're staying with the program. It means it's a good program. So let's pretend you're in the Empire State Building. Okay, you're in the Empire State Building, and you're in the elevator with the president of Lithia Motor Group, and you've got 20 stories to give us an elevator pitch. You're on.
Okay, so we, again, are a premier loyalty retention company, and we are setting the benchmarks for dealerships and retention in the auto industry. We are a proven company that admins programs, retention programs, engine and powertrain programs for dealerships. We brand the dealership, and we provide graphics, and we also provide in-house training monthly. And again, we are setting the benchmarks in the industry for loyalty and retention. We don't just take a customer and make them loyal, but we make them advocates of the dealership and wanting them to return back to the dealership.
So let me ask you, when you get an appointment with a dealership, what kind of a checklist do you go through to ascertain that dealer's specific needs? Because I think everyone's probably a little bit different, but they probably all need your services. So what's your answer to that question?
Yeah, so we start out by asking the question, what is your retention rate now? What does the factory tell you your retention rate is? And usually a dealer will, give us the Honda number or Toyota or whatever the manufacturer is. And a lot of stores will say 35% or 40%. And usually that number is new only because it's from the factory. And we come back with, a lot of our dealers, most of our dealers are over 50% retention, and that's new and used, upwards of even 80% retention, retaining their customers. And then we ask, well, what are you doing for your customers right now to retain them? And usually they'll spout off a couple of things that help increase loyalty, like a free oil change here or there, or maybe some freebies. But those aren't really driving those numbers upwards of what the manufacturer is looking for in retention or what the dealership really needs in loyalty from their customers. So we come in with best practices. We customize a program for the dealership that fits what they want to do and what their customers need or what the customers want. And then we put that program in place for the dealer. But no one program looks the same.
I'm going to get to that in a second, though. But my question, and I think that this is probably something that goes from it's specific from dealer to dealer. It's unique from dealer to dealer. But what are some of the biggest issues that you see at the average dealership from the standpoint of retention practices or lack thereof?
I think the first one, kind of the obvious one, is that they don't have a loyalty program in place. I mean, they're not rewarding their customers in terms of points and dollars spent, or like a hotel. If I spend enough dollars with that hotel, then I'm going to go from maybe a gold or a silver to a gold to a diamond level, or like the airlines, a platinum, platinum pro, platinum executive. I mean, so they really don't have anything in place to really reward their customers and to make them or turn them into loyal customers, at least the majority of them. And that's the first thing. The second thing is training. I mean, service advisors, salespeople, some of them aren't trained in a way to create customers that will become loyal to them. So lack of training, and then of course turnover in the car business in the industry is pretty high. So that when customers come in and they see different faces all the time, that creates a lot of uneasiness. So I think those are some of the ones right there. And customer satisfaction would be another one. And, treating the customers the right way, and making sure that they're happy when they leave, and greeting them in the right way. Welcome to our dealership. You're really making customers feel special when they come to the dealership to do business with them.
So it's
just some of the ones.
No, go on. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
That's okay. That's just some of the ones just off right off the top there that I could see that's affecting dealerships right now in terms of loyalty, and that's why they have a huge defection rate. Just some of those, the combination of them, or maybe one or two of them, that's at the dealership.
So how robust is the support that you anchor to the campaigns that you push? Because you need to follow up.
That's one of the best things that we offer in terms of email campaigns. Is that what you're referring to, and training?
Exactly. And what kind of training do you supply? Because the most important thing, obviously, is training, but then following through and making sure that the staff, that the employees are actually, going along with the program, or it's going to flop. So I'm sure you guys have a pretty robust campaign as far as support.
Yes. That's one thing that we really pride ourselves on, is making sure that there's service after the sale. Making sure that we are in-house monthly, at least within 30 to 45 days, in the dealership, doing training for sales, conducting training for service as well, service advisors. And I think that's the boots on the ground and people in the store, and actually really partnering with the dealership, creating a relationship with the dealer and his management staff and his personnel, I think is very, very key to what we do. And that's one thing we look at our people who sign up with us, dealerships that are our customers, not just as customers, but as clients and partners, really partnering with them. And as they're successful, then we're successful. If they're not successful, then we're not successful. So, our whole motivation is to make sure that the dealer is successful and the program is working, in their stores. So we periodically will take a look at the program and tweak it. What's working, what's not working, what should we add or take away? How should we incentivize your customers differently? We do that by demographics and by region, so and by manufacturer. But that's something that we look at all the time is, what can we do to make sure that your people are trained and the trainers in your stores are trained properly, the management's trained properly. So we touch every facet of the dealership, and just to make sure that there's a lot of training that's going on. People know the program inside and out.
Well, talk to us about some of the programs you're currently running that get the best results for your client base, and do the results tend to differ region to region or DMA to DMA? And if so, can you give us an example?
Sure. Some of those would be, I think, of the email campaigns that we do. We have a graphics department where people are hired right out of college, and all they know is the auto industry. I mean, all they know is what we do, and we have clients that say this is the best graphics I've ever seen, and so we create or assign a graphic designer to create email campaigns for the dealership, and they can do just one for sales or just one for service or a combo of sales and service. And the dealership can go to our website and they can go to monthly email campaigns, fill out a template, choose one of those email campaigns, fill in the data, the information, send it to us, and then usually within about 48 hours we've created a campaign that we will email blast out to their customers or their members that are in the rewards program and to the ones in their database that are not enrolled.
Mm-hmm.
So if a dealership signs up and they want to do an email campaign, say we're 6 months into the program, well, there's not that many customers that are actually enrolled in the program, but they may have a database of 20,000 people. We're going to email blast everybody that's in the program and not in the program. So we do that, and of course that's centered around the holidays, that's centered around special events, that it could be centered around even community events that are happening, with maybe somebody, a college or another business that that they've partnered with. But we can create whatever type of email campaign that they want. We'll send it out. Then we also do direct mail. We only charge just the cost for that, the postage
Mm-hmm.
and the creative part. That's it. Everything's included in ours. It's very inexpensive, and we have tremendous results because these email campaigns are tied to a rewards program. We have some of the highest open rates, and of course, obviously, the success rates with that of people actually coming in and doing business in service or sales with the dealership.
Open rates are the whole enchilada, though, aren't they? What kind of open
They
rates?
are.
Yeah, well, if you're emailing to a warm, captive audience, somebody who's already in their database, it's a lot. Obviously, it's a lot better result than if you're going cold and just basically spamming. I've got a question for you, and I think other people are going to probably wonder what the definition, what the difference is between loyalty and retention, or does a retention program simply include the loyalty component?
Yeah, that's a great question, Kelly. I think it's really terms of loyalty is retention. So, but a lot of people look at it today as CSI versus loyalty. So, thanks to JD Powers and their surveys and getting good CSI scores, we've been able to realize and see that just because a customer has or returns a good survey, doesn't mean that they're going to be loyal to you. So just because I'm happy and you gave me good service today doesn't mean that I'm actually going to come back and do business with you tomorrow. In this day and age and with customers, that's expected. Good customer service, making me satisfied, that's expected. So to make me really loyal, you need to reward me. You need to, you need to give back to the customer to actually make them loyal. So we know a couple of things that are true with rewards and loyalty programs, and this is proven. There's a science behind that about with the rewards programs. It's been proven through other industries. Hotels, airlines have been doing this for 40 or 50 years. There's two axioms to rewards programs that have never changed. One axiom is, if you reward me, I will become loyal to you. The second axiom is, not only will I become loyal to you, but I will also spend more money with you. Here, I'm sitting in front of a Starbucks coffee store right now, and when they introduced their rewards and loyalty program, their average customer coming in per week shot up dramatically. They have an app, and obviously there's the rewards tied to that app. So I've heard numbers of, on average they have people coming in 3 to 5 days or times a week, and now it's up to 5 to 7 times a week because they're getting rewarded and it's tied to their app. We also do the same thing. We've got an app, a dealer app, for every one of our partners. So every one of their customers can download this app. It's tied to their service history. They have their entire service history on there. It's tied to the rewards program. They can see what services are done, and there's a lot of other cool features with that app.
Some marketers say that email is Well, email and direct mail is dead. Some say it's challenging, some still swear by it. Are there any unique techniques that you use to get results that bypass spam filters and the perceptions of junk mail? Obviously, you guys are doing a really good job. And by the way, on the back end of that, if you can share a few case studies with us so we can help you get more clients, that would be great.
Yeah, sure. So I don't know the technology as far as the spam, but here's what we do know is that when customers opt in or they sign up for a rewards program, they're logging in. They're providing their own email and password, and so when we send them an email, it's not going into spam. It's going to them, and because they've opted in for that or they've logged into that, so that's one reason why you have a big open rate is because of that. The other reason why it's successful with email campaigns is because it's tied to the rewards program. It's no different than like American Airlines. If they send me an email, I'm going to open it up and I'm going to see my reward statement or whatever specials they have. So it works kind of the same way as that. As far as direct mail, I mean, I'm in dealerships, weekly and almost every day, and I still walk into dealerships and they've said that they've just done direct mail or they're doing direct mail with us and they're getting results, from those sales. So I think it just depends on the dealer and obviously the design of the direct mail piece, the design of the email campaign, who you're sending that out to, and of course the timing of all of that as well.
So, as far as case studies are concerned, what kind of lift are you seeing? Let's say it's a 4th of July. Let's say it was 2017.
Yeah.
How do you measure the attribution towards the direct mail and the email pieces? I know it works. I've seen it work for car dealers for quite some time. It seems to work very well with that particular vertical.
Yeah. So what we look at is we look at the direct mail piece. If you're sending that out and you're combining it with an email campaign, you look at, well, what were the results for the sales, and then of course from the people walking in from just the direct mail piece, and then we look at the open rates, and then we track people who were in service that we sent emails to and who bought a car from these emails, and we can provide that data to the dealer to say, hey, there was $20,000, $50,000 generated in sales, or there was $20,000 generated in service, and we can say that. Now we can't claim obviously that we did all of that, but we can say hopefully that we helped in that and we assisted in that. So we track all of that with the dealership, that data, and then the other thing that we look at is, of course, over time, we say, well, if a dealer started with us in January, how many cars did he sell the year before? How many cars did he sell last month? And then is that number trending up? And is the service numbers going up? So we track it by service visits, two per year. We track it by their average customer pay per parts and labor. And we're also, again, tracking the sales side of it, and then the average gross front and back for the sales and finance, and if those numbers are going up as well. So there's a lot of behind-the-scenes things that we do, and we do a lot of follow-up as well automatically. So we're automatically generating follow-up emails, with the customers to drive them back to sales and drive them back to service. And the dealer doesn't have to do anything with that. I mean, the customers are put automatically into a cycle of, here's the beginning email or welcome email, here's a follow-up email, here's an app email, and then of course here's a first service reminder email, and then we do periodic emails as long as they own the vehicle to drive them back to sales and service.
Great performance is, of course, your best retention strategy. No question about
Right.
it as a vendor. So, Todd, got to ask you, where are you going to be in 5 years?
That's a great question. I do a lot outside of the auto industry with my church.
Mm-hmm.
So I do a lot of ministry, and then of course, I love doing what I'm doing with Dealership for Life. So, really, it's an open door. I hope it's just, obviously signing up more dealers and helping them increase their retention rates, and then, wherever God leads. So,
A good answer. I follow the same philosophy, folks. That is and was Todd Gilbreth, Dealership for Life. Look him up. Go Cavs, go Tribe, go Cowboys. Until we meet again, this is Kelly, Dealership News Podcast, dealershipnews.com. Todd, thanks again. We'll see
Thank you, Kelly. Thanks so much for the opportunity.
You bet. We'll see you down the road. Take care, everybody.